Good day, everybody. I'm Shmi, and I make guides for Path of Exile's Ruthless mode. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Today, I'm back to show you all of the 7 different builds that I considered as Ruthless Affliction League starters. This is going to be different from my build guides in 2 specific ways. Of the 7 builds I'm going to show you, 4 of them are based off of things that have been significantly changed in the Affliction patch. While I have every reason to believe that these builds will all be good, I could be wrong for the builds that I haven't personally tested. Each time I show you a build, I'll indicate if that build is proven, and I have experience playing it and I know it's good, or if that build is untested. If you choose to follow an untested build, do so at your own risk. Most of the builds that I think up are good, but I do make an occasional stinker. The second is that I'm not really going to explain the builds like I normally do in my build videos. I'll put the late endgame POB links down in the description, but my commentary has more to do with what I think of the build as a league starter and why I either picked it or passed on it. Okay, let's get started. The first build that I crossed off of my list was a Poisonous Explosive Trap Assassin. It seems like a really cool build because of the change to toxic delivery. It's immune to reflected damage because it uses traps, and the beauty of this build is in its simplicity. The problem that I have is that there are a ton of questions that I cannot answer before I can actually see this with my own eyes. Explosive Trap costs a lot of mana. Does this get enough mana regeneration just from clarity? How's the damage before you find a chance to poison support and can get up to 100% chance to poison? Is Decoy Totem enough to compensate for the build's squishiness? Because there's just too many questions about the build that I can't answer, I'm going to pass on it for now. The second build that I crossed off was a Pious Path Righteous Fire Inquisitor. Another cool build, but I have 2 problems with this one. The first is that I league started Righteous Fire in Total League, and I want to do something different. Second is that I know the damage will fall off in the end game because of the changes to the gem, but I have no idea how early, and I really don't want to see my league starter's damage become pitiful when I'm still in white maps. This is a build that you can do, but honestly it's kind of a weird hipster build. Probably not as good as I think it is. Next up on my list is the first build that I know is good, and that's my DOT Occultist. This is a very solid build, and it will make a great league starter, but thinking about playing Dot again, no thank you, I want to try something else. If you want to follow this build, please click the link and watch the full build guide. It should be popping up in the corner right about now. Next up is a Poison Bow Deadeye. This is a variant of the Proa Assassin. It uses Barrage and either Rain of Arrows or Toxic Rain. It's another really solid build, and it's more or less what I played in Crucible League, just as a ranger instead of as a champion. It is another proven starter, but it is a little squishy. The build is also a bit janky up until around level 50. At level 30 or so, you have to choose either to get Iron Reflexes and then set up your defense, or to pick up the poison nodes and set up your offense. You basically have to choose whether you would rather be extra squishy or have low DPS through the first half of the campaign. In fact, what I found is that it's actually best to skip your normal labyrinth until the end of Act 7, and then do the normal and the cruel labs back to back. If you're looking for more of a glass cannon style build in Ruthless, this is a good one, and in reality, it's not that fragile. I'm passing on it because, let's just say that you'll see why later in the list. And of course, you cannot go wrong with SRS. You can do this build as a Guardian, but I designed it as a Necromancer Witch because at the end game you can build flip and swap out SRS into the new transfigured animate weapon gem, the one that summons bows instead of those melee flaming skulls. You would flip away from elemental hit damage and instead turn into a poisonous animate bow necro. It sounds kind of crazy. It gets a ton of resistances and movement speed, and it's far tankier than it has any business being. I also mained SRS in Total League. That's why I'm passing on it. If you want the best proven league starter that I can think of, this SRS build would be it. This next one was really hard to pass on. It is a Penance brand Inquisitor. In addition to Penance brand, you'll get Stormburst as a quest reward to go with it, but if you want, you can trade in your first uncarved gemstone for Arc, Ball Lightning, Crackling Lance, or Divine Ire instead. Penance brand's being changed in Affliction League so that it doesn't have an attached duration anymore. Instead of that goofy pulse damage thing that it used to do, now it just sticks to a monster until it hits 20 energy and it blows up in one big mega nuke explosion. The fact that it no longer has an attached duration effectively means that you can use the Swift brand support with no drawback. But without Swift brand, I think the damage delay is just going to be way too slow. The second reason is that without the physical to lightning support, you're doing one big giant crit mega nuke that is split evenly between physical and lightning damage. If you do this build as a league starter, any form of damage reflection will brick a map for you. If you try, you will immediately die as soon as your first Penance brand goes off. I can almost guarantee that I'll play this build some point during Affliction League, and if I played Standard League, then this would be my league starter. But because of the dependence on two different support gems, I am passing on it, for now. What I am choosing as my league starter is an untested, poisonous Storm Rain Assassin. It is the exact same passive tree setup as the Poison Bow Deadeye from earlier in this list. Due to the change to Toxic Delivery, instead of Rain of Arrows or Toxic Rain, we can swap it out for a much better damaging Storm Rain. And because Storm Rain is a level 28 skill, that means that we can dodge most of the skill gem farming that Proa had to do. This build is like Chris Wilson himself watched my Proa guide and decided to personally toss me a huge upgrade. The build is still going to suffer from the same leveling problem that Proa and the Poison Bow Deadeye do. If you follow this build along with me, or if you do the Poison Bow Deadeye, I am again strongly recommending that you skip the normal labyrinth and then you just run the normal and cruel labyrinths back to back around level 55. One thing that does worry me about this build is that it gets 0 stun mitigation. I don't think it's going to matter that much, but I could be wrong. It's also slightly vulnerable to Reflect, but Reflect wasn't an issue on Proa, so it shouldn't be an issue on Pisser? Wait, seriously? Oh, okay, we'll work on that name. Anyway, regardless of what you choose as a league starter, Affliction League is looking to bring a big shakeup to the endgame meta. I don't know about you all, but I am incredibly hyped for the new league launch. Not only are we getting a significant skill rebalance, but with the addition of transfigured gems, we will see a huge shift in the endgame meta. Something tells me that Affliction League will be one of the most build-diverse leagues in Path of Exile history. As for me, I'm going to get to work on my final part 3 of the Ruthless Atlas guide, so you all can know how to level your Atlas once Affliction League launches. And then my plan is to work on the Ruthless Blight guide so that it will publish while I'm grinding through the campaign as hard as I can. I'll go ahead and get to work on that, and until next time, thank you for watching, and take care, Exiles.